Thank you so much.
So we got Garnet, we got Steven.
Right.
In the show, they can fuse together to form Sunstone.
Right.
Is that something that we're looking at in the future?
I would love to have something like that happen. I can't talk about it right now, but I'd love... the big thing for us is making sure the characters are authentic and they satisfy what fans of these characters want, right? And knowing that we want to be able to make those things happen. So it is on our radar, and we know about it, and I'd love to have something like that.
How do you manage interactions with the environment as well? Not just fighting itself, but I understand again, these interactions with the environment as well.
Right.
What went into bringing that into the fold as well?
So I think it's part of I don't know how in depth I should get on this, but it's part of the when you're playing the game, there's different layers of mastery, right? First of all, it's just mastering your character and learning how they work, and then mastering your opponent and how they work, and then your ally, and then your opponent's teammate, right? But then the other layer is the environment. And that actually ties into the gameplay and what you're learning about the game, where you can place the characters, how you can use the environment to your advantage or disadvantage. And that's all part of the tactics and strategy that create depth in the game, and why players, I think, will find Multiversus exciting for a really long time.
Can you talk about the cooldowns system and the decay when with abilities?
Yeah, so cooldowns are a mechanic in the game. I think that they provide tremendous benefit to the game because it allows us to do really crazy things with the characters. So Bugs Bunny can summon a rocket that shoots off and creates a platform for him. But if he just did that over and over again, that would not be fun for anyone. But if we're able to, it's like a lever for us to control the balance in the game and the design of the game, which allows us, honestly, to, it opens the door for all types of crazy mechanics that you would never see before, right, in any sort of game in this genre, right? So it just allows us to make it balanced and tuned, because at the end of the day, when you're making games, you have to make it fun for the player that's playing and then the player that you're playing against. So how do you make incredible, awesome things that are truly authentic to the character, like summoning the rocket or the safe for Bugs Bunny, right? Or Wonder Woman's lasso, using that really powerful abilities, but also making it balanced and fun for the opponent to play around.
And then the DK systems, just so you don't keep using the same.
Yeah, we want variety, right? And so I think that our combo system is actually really incredibly deep, and I think that it never feels good. Like, again, it comes back down to how do you make this fun for yourself and how do you make it fun for the opponent? And the opponent, if you're comboing them and you're using the same move over and over again, that is not a great feeling. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of skill involved there, right? As opposed to having to come up with really creative combo routes. And that's what that opens up, right? It actually makes it so that you have to spend a lot of hours in the lab figuring out what actually connects to each other, and then using that to make something that is honestly awe-inspiring for other players to watch, right? And that's what's you see all the YouTube videos right now of the combo videos. That's because of this decay system that actually allows us to actually have these really creative and inventive combo routes in the system. It actually opens up the door for the gameplay and for players to discover more.
So there's multiple gameplay modes you can do, match styles and all that stuff. Was there any ideas on further ones or other ones that you guys had to just scrap to make sure you made the best kind of game possible?
So you're talking about game modes?
Yeah, game modes, yeah.
Okay. So I think more game modes are better, right? But you have to focus on a few, especially in terms of balance. So our main mode is cooperative 2v2, and just balancing that alone is going to be tremendously difficult. And we're already, just in a few days, we're already bursting at the seams of some balance issues that have appeared already that we had not anticipated. So if you're going to balance for everything, there's not enough resources to be able to do that. So you have to focus in on something. That's my belief anyways, in my experience in the past. And so that's what we're doing. We're focusing on 2v2 to balance it, but then on top of that, we're making a lot of new modes that are going to be coming in. And I think that everything from very competitive modes to very casual modes are coming in the future. But we have to especially at the beginning, when the most balance changes are needing to happen, we have to be focused on making that game really healthy before we move on to other things.
On the creative side of thing, I've always been curious. How far in advance do you know, like, which new characters and environments will be added later? And what is the process? Do you have a team that does that, or is it all submit and see what sticks?
So first of all, it comes from the team, right? Like, what do we want? There's a lot of pieces in delivering making a decision, right? So ideas can come from anywhere, and if we can come up with a really great idea like that translates the character to our game really well, then we'll try to run with that idea, right? And I'm going to tell you, like, working with a lot of different IP, I mean, it's been amazing, but at the same time, you never know, like, there are hurdles to go jump through, right? In order to get approvals and everything else, right? Not everybody's going to say yes. But at the end of the day, you run with these ideas, you see how far you can go with them, right? And then, and if it's really strong enough, you convince others that it's strong enough, you put it in the game, then it realizes that vision, right? And over time, I think it's going to be easier. That's my hope anyways. Now that we have the game out, people are able to see what we've been able to do with these characters. I mean, look at Velma. Velma, traditionally in a fighting game, that doesn't even make any sense. She's not punching or kicking, but in our game, she fights with words, and she's trying to solve the mystery by finding clues and looking around the map and, being very authentic to herself and how she would actually play in the game. And so when other people see that, then they'll feel more comfortable with how we treat their IP, right, and their characters. That's kind of the challenge. It's like convincing and also being able to realize what that character should be, right? And the player will be satisfied with how the character plays, because it plays like how you would think that character should play.
Perfect, thank you.
I guess you kind of answered my question, but how do you feel like you have to hold back on how powerful you want to make a character in the game, even though you know Superman should be knocking everybody out, and you explain that through your trailer and the system, but how much like holding back on some of the characters did you put in the game, like scaling back on
Yeah,
all of
I mean, at the end of the day, first and foremost is gameplay. So, like I said, you have to make it so it's fun for you as a player and then fun for the opponent, right? So if Superman just one-shotting everyone, that is not going to be fun for the opponent, right? And that is kind of the baseline for the game. If we're going to bring these iconic characters into the game, it has to be fun, and that's rule number one, right? But at the same time, how do we realize Superman and make him feel powerful, make him feel like Superman? So if you look at his dodge, he has the fastest instant teleport dodge of any character. He just dashes around, he'll walk, he doesn't run, he walks you down and then dashes at you and appears right in front of you. And he has really powerful charge-up moves and armor that blocks hits from himself, right? So he has heat vision and ice breath, flight. He actually flies in a platform fighter, which is pretty crazy. And there's a lot of design challenges wrapped around all that stuff. So I think when you actually place it Superman, I think you're going to be really satisfied as a Superman fan. Myself personally, as a Superman fan, when I play Superman, I feel like Superman. But also, when opponents fight you against Superman, they feel like it's fair.
Will we be seeing multi-character characters, ice, for example, ice climbers?
So that already exists in our game. So Tom and Jerry is a duo character. So it's incredible. The Tom and Jerry's, the way that we realized it was that when you think about Tom and Jerry, they only care about each other. They don't care about anybody else. So Tom, the whole time, he's just trying to chase Jerry. Even when they're running, they're just chasing Jerry. Their attacks are not directed at other players, they're directed at each other.
Oh, that's awesome.
So everybody else is just collateral damage on the characters. So the whole time they're running around, jumping, trying to catch each other while everybody else is getting hurt. And so that is absolutely true to what that character is all about, right? And let me tell you that was an incredibly difficult character to create, but I think that what you see in the game is absolutely incredible. The team has done an incredible job on that character, and that is super important for us to make these characters feel like they are these characters, and you're playing as these characters. And there's a ton of love put into the game to create this authenticity that the characters have. That doesn't come by accident. That comes with a lot of effort and a lot of love. And I think that we hope that translates across to players when they play the game.
Say how many total backgrounds there are, scenes like and talk about something.
Yeah, so there's a lot of maps, and more coming. Stuff we just added Steven Universe's Sky Arena, and yeah, and orchestral score. We do remixes of all the music as well, and it is incredible. Yeah, we have like Adventure Time, the Tree Fort, Scooby Mansion, the Batcave, and we have another map called that's our own custom map that has like a lot of different IP. That's like a medley map. But all of them have at least one or two completely remixed versions of the original scores with full orchestral music, and yeah, it's pretty incredible. Like when I heard the Steven Universe main theme remix, I actually like teared up a little bit. It was like, and yeah, the Adventure Time theme as well. Like, yeah, it's just incredible. Yeah.